Okay, so I've been telling you guys that I was going to do a domestic violence awareness, basically the signs that you are in a domestic violence relationship. And I had a rough week last weekend, so I have not been able to get to it. So don't think that I forgot about you guys, because I did it. So anyways, before I start, there's a hotline for domestic violence. It's called the Domestic Violence Advocate. The phone number is 1-800-799-7233. And for some people like me that may forget, if it's a little bit easier, you can dial 1-800-799-SAFE. That's SAFE. Now, I had to write some stuff down because it's a lot. So I'll probably have to go over them different times and, whatever the case may be. So the first thing is, it's not always what it looked like. Number one. So, they always say the thing that's shining or things that look like it's gold, shimmering, is not always gold. So I was interrupted. So anyways, it doesn't always look like what it seems. So they say everything that shine is not gold. Also, the relationship starts off very intense. The person is romantic. They're absolutely perfect. You're trying to figure out, is this too good to be true? I mean, opening up doors. I mean, paying for all the dates, even if you try to, just very much of a gentleman. I mean, you wouldn't carry a bag, nothing. I mean, like, you'd be surprised of the red flags. But anyways, if they're too perfect, caution yourself. Also, let's see, what's another thing I put on here in the other video? Oh, another thing I said in the other video, I had said that you should be able to detect these signs early. And that's false, because I didn't detect it early in a few of mines. And some people are very good at hiding these things. And so when they're good at hiding it, then you won't be able to detect it until later on, or even if you guys decide to move in together, then you will start seeing the signs. So the signs are not always there in the beginning, but some are, because some people just can't, hold on, I'm gonna turn the light on. Another sign or red flag is possession, controlling. And at first, it doesn't seem like they're, having a possession issue, or they're controlling. And, at first it might be like, wow, he's really digging me, or, you're thinking that it's something else when it's something else. And we don't recognize it or accept the fact that, hey, this person might be controlling, or this person, he shows kind of possessive, or if you're in the grocery store and he moves you over to the side when a man comes next to you. I was like, okay, no. Possession, controlling. I wasn't in no harm's way, and I thought that was just the cutest thing, but no. Then, let me see what else. But you'll look up and the intensity grows. The controlling becomes more controlling. The possession becomes more of a possession. And you don't really see it as that at first, because it's like a turn on, if you will. Another red flag, and it shouldn't be, but just be careful, is they're very charismatic. I guess that's not what you call it. Prince Charming. They go over and above. They will do any and everything to make you feel appreciated and so loved. And, even if he's controlling you, they hold it back until, again, once you start to trust them and they see that you love them, then slowly you'll start seeing things unravel. But by that time, you're so caught up in love with Prince Charming, you kind of let the small things go. Don't do that. What is another one? Again, do a background check on everybody that you meet, okay, I take that back. If you go on a date with somebody and it's a blind date, do a background check before you go on a date with them. Make sure there's no domestic violence. There's no bipolar. They're not psychotic, because you do want to return home to your family. The second thing I would say on top of the background is just You know, if you know this person, you see them around, you guys go to social events before, you know that person's not cray cray, that's fine. But then when you become a little serious, then make sure you investigate before your feelings develop and then you feel like, you know, you can change that person. You can never change a person. A person is only going to change if they really want to. And if they don't want to, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you give to them, no matter, you could be, I mean, the best person in the world. If they're not ready to change and if they don't want to change, they will not change for you or anyone else. They have to do it for themselves. And that's when it will stick the most. You have to be careful because then you look up and they start making you feel unsure and uncertain about yourself. And, you know, then you look up and you start making excuses for their behavior. So we don't want to make excuses for their behavior because then you look up and now you're enabler, so to speak, you know. So before you look up, you are already ready to have an excuse, even when the person is wrong, because you love them and because they were so Prince Charming and they were so charismatic and, you know, they opened up your door and, you know, they did all these romantic things that romantic women like, because some women don't like all that chummy stuff and feel like they can open up the door for themselves. But, you know, if you're someone like me, you like a man to open up your door. You know, if you're someone like me, you want the man to carry in your groceries or, you know, your bags or whatever the case may be, you know, and so, they could really be very disguising. And then sometimes if they want to move too fast, it's a red flag. If they always want to see you like every single night, they want to come over, you got to call them every day, all day. Well, don't you have a job? Are you not going to work? And you don't have other things besides me in your life? And don't get me wrong, that's very flattering when someone wants to see you all the time and want to talk to you on the phone all the time. But then it's like, hold up, pump your brakes. Like, let's get a, you know, and I've done it before. Don't get me wrong. And it was loving and, you know, I enjoyed it. But with my experience, it all ended up bad because, you know, in those relationships or marriages, we were moving fast. And it's easy to move fast when things are going so great and so perfect and you're just caught off guard. So you have to be careful with their behavior and then starting to make excuses for their behavior. And then if the person is trying to move very fast, wanting to see you every night, wanting to know your every move from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, that's a concern and that's a red flag. You feel like you guys are perfect for each other. You know, he started telling you guys that you're soulmates or even that, you know, one day you're going to be my wife. And a good line is, God told me you're going to be my wife. So if you're a Christian or if you looking for someone that believes in God or in Christ or, you know, whatever your belief is, because, you know, I know there's Muslims out there, there's Jehovah's Witnesses. So whatever word they use, that's another way to, I think it's called really almost like a love bombing or bombing you or gaslighting you. That's what it is to tell you that, you know, one day you're going to be my wife or God said you're going to be my wife. Da, 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 da. I mean, you guys will be praying together, going to church together. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And you look up and you're like, wow. But you really don't realize until it's too late or your foot is like really deep in, like deep in. So again, be careful with moving too fast. Watching their behavior, making excuses, them becoming Prince Charming. And again, it doesn't look like what it is. So it might look good. Like they say, the devil comes, he'll come all dressed up in a nice suit. And the devil can come dressed up in a nice skirt too. So you got to be careful because everything that looks good ain't good. Another red sign or red flag is unrealistic expectations. And they start telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing. And commenting on like your hair, the way you dress. Oh, you shouldn't be with that around that person. Oh, you shouldn't be around this person. Oh, you know, I don't know. It's just like little knickknacks that would eventually, I'm like, you know, they start to make themselves higher above other people. Not so much yourself at first, but they will set out an expectation that they expect you to do, but they won't do it themselves. And that's a red flag. And again, start telling you, You shouldn't hang around her. And at first I thought that the person was caring about me. And, this happened more than once. So the person was caring about me. And not only was, he was caring about me, he was looking out for my best interest, but he was finding a way to isolate me. And so, slowly but surely, I started to get isolated. And before I looked up, I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to go nowhere, or I didn't want to hang out, which I normally didn't do anyway. So that really wasn't a red flag to me, because I enjoyed staying home. I enjoyed being a mom. I did all my clubbing and partying and hanging out way early. So I got tired early, but so when he would put out these, so they were almost like suggestions, and then you'd be looking like, oh, or comments, or, you shouldn't wear your hair like this. I don't like weaves. I don't like this. But you met me wearing a weave. But you met me wearing braids. And now you don't want me to wear it. I mean, I wear my natural hair too, but not too often. That's too much work. But the thing is, when you met me, if it was okay for me to do it then, why not now? Because you shouldn't have been attracted to me at that time if I had the extensions or if I had the braids, right? So again, that's another red flag, is unrealistic expectations, or they'll expect you to do things that they won't do. So another one would be, this was told to me before, you can't do what I do. So meaning, I can hang out all night, but you can't, whether you guys live together or not, because it's happened in both situations. And I'm really not a hanger outer per se, but if I'm hanging out, I'm not hanging out. So I take the back. I'm at church. It might be for an extensive amount of time, or if we're at dance practice or choir practice, if the kids have certain events, we will come in late, but not because we're hanging out or we're doing something, if that makes any sense. But they would be able to stay out. They will be able to hang out with their friends with no problem. But the moment you do it, part 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So again, continuing with the unrealistic expectations. They don't want you to hang out with your friends, but they hang out with their friends. They want you to call and check in every minute of every hour, but they don't call in and check in. They call in when they feel like it. I don't know. I can't, I'm just trying to give you guys some basic things to really look out for, but they'll start progressing slowly but surely. And then they'll kind of be like in and out. So again, you really, 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 really have to be careful. What was another one? Oh, they think they know more about life than you do. And so we all have different levels of life experiences and all that, but your answer is never right. So they have to give you their answer, or their answer have to be better. Or another thing too, and I think this one goes into what is it called? It's all over narcissism, if that's the right word. If not, y'all could correct me. It's okay. That one is when they think they know more than you. That's also narcissism, because what they would do is put themselves above you. So you could be talking about, hey, I had a good day today. So for example, I'll say, I went to do a dance at my sister's church, and I'm coming home and I want to share this with this person. And I'm like, babe, look, look at my video. I'm really proud of myself. And somehow, some way, the topic is changed off of you to them. Every single time. Red flag. Every single time you discuss anything about you or anyone else, somehow it reverts back to them. They're the charmer. They're the healer. They're the protector. They're the person who came in to save the day. They're the person that came in and did this. They're the person that this is. And oh my God, you can't believe what I did today. And I'm like, can I finish telling you what happened to me today? Or, whether it was good or bad, you could never, it's always a competition. Red flag. I'm trying to think what else I want to put in here. We did the clothes, your hair, the weaves. They think they know more than you. They think they're better than you. Another thing that's not flattering to me, but when you constantly telling me that you're going to provide, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. But then they want you to stay at home. Like, staying at home is another way of isolating you, especially if they're not going to do the job that they're supposed to do. So you have to be careful with that. So, of course, as a woman, you want your spouse or your mate or your dater, whatever you want to call it, to be a provider. That's common, right? I mean, not common. That's like, duh, right? But in today's world, the roles could be reversed. So no biggie, right? I'll be back. So again, the roles could be reversed. So some men stay home while some women work, and that's the agreement that they have. So that's okay, because like my mom used to tell me, each household, each his own. Whatever works for them may not work for you, and whatever works for you may not work for them. If it's working for them, it's none of your business. So none of my business, right? But why do you have to keep telling me you're going to provide for me? Can't you just show me? Another red flag. Why do you have to keep telling me? Show me. But in the beginning, it's all there. Oh, trust me. Every date, you ain't paying for nothing. You ain't open up a door. You ain't doing nothing. You go out to eat. When you go take trips, all of it's paid for. No problem. And he might even pay for the people next to you. Wonderful. Until you move in together. Ouch. Okay, so be careful with you stay at home, I'll provide for you. And some men are old fashioned. So don't get me wrong. Some people were raised to where the man goes out and work and the mom or the wife stay home. That's how it was back in the day. But that's not like that no more. Today, sometimes you stay home to be controlled. And not all men are like this. So this is not for all men. This is just what I've experienced. And because I've experienced, I can come to you guys and just tell you to be aware and have your eyes open. Don't be naive. And I can say that because I was. And I was more than once. Because I always want to see the good in people. And I always give them the benefit of the doubt until they give me a reason not to. If that makes any sense. I don't like to judge a book by its cover. It's covered because when you open that book, you might read a different story. So I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt because I don't want nobody judging me. Because if they judge me by the way I look and then they get to read my story, they'll be like, girl, you done been through it. Yes, I've been through it, but you can't tell I've been through it. Why? Because of the man upstairs. But I'm just saying. So that will be that. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about gifting and love bombing. We can't do this in one video. I only get 3 minutes. So I have to keep chopping and chopping and chopping and coming back. However, I'm going to be posting these videos on YouTube. And I think my channel is at Joy Laster 49. But I'll get back with you guys to make sure. Or I'll put it in the comments or something so you can follow me and watch one long clip. Because I'm going to put them all together instead of give you 1 minute, 3 minute. Because I have to because of TikTok. You guys already know the deal.